Hey, good evening. Wixman Ray here. It's getting pretty active out there with thunderstorms across the middle part of the country. Sorry, I'm burping up my food already. uh, so yeah, today's Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. It's about 7 p.m. here in Central Time Zone, 8 p.m. for the Eastern Time Zone, 6 p.m. for the Mountain, and 5 p.m. out west on the West Coast time, or Pacific Daylight Time, to be perfectly technical. So, yeah, so we still got some energy up over the northern Rockies, across parts of Washington, northern Idaho, Montana, even into Wyoming. We got some, looks like some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms down here. We'll have to take a look at that, and some rain and snow with this colder air back with this stuff. Um, then we got this cold front here that's developed out through the plains, and we've got some pretty good thunderstorms going on. We got some severe warnings all across the plains here. A couple tornado warnings, so we'll show you that. There's some pretty rough storms through Wisconsin, up into Minnesota there. That's where you're seeing these reds and these dark colors, these reds and oranges and even those blacks. That's really cold cloud tops that are getting way up there in the atmosphere, probably above 40, maybe 50,000 feet, way up high. Some big storms. And then we got some just some high clouds with the subtropical jet going across the southwest into Texas. I don't think there's any precipitation with that. We've got a few little pop-up clouds here, maybe a couple little weak showers across this area in this parts of the southeast. We also got a few showers across Florida. I don't think there's thunderstorms. Also, we got a couple thunderstorms again across parts of Ohio into West Virginia and even into Virginia. So a few showers and storms there. This stuff here, just some cloud cover. I think there's a little bit of light precipitation on the Canadian side of the border, but really nothing too substantial to worry about. And then we still got the clouds over Maine there. There's a little bit of really light precipitation, maybe some sprinkles if there is anything left hitting the ground. But yeah, that's still spinning up there, bringing that colder air across the northeast. So yeah, so that's our satellite view. This is our infrared, just so you know. This measures the cloud top temperatures, like I mentioned, with these thunderstorms. So yeah, so that's what you're seeing. So pretty active weather-wise. We've got a active pattern going on right now, and that'll continue right through the weekend. Um, Looking at our surface observations, we've got some good thunderstorms. We'll start right in the middle part of the country. A couple areas of thunderstorms up across Minnesota. Don't look like anything severe up there. We've got some showers and storms up over Wisconsin. Looks like one severe warning in the northern part of the state. And then we've got this line, and this is actually this stuff's kind of out ahead of the cold front. It's like a prefrontal, like trough type deal. And we got this. This is along the cold front, or just near the cold front. We got showers and storms from southern Minnesota through Iowa, down through northwest Missouri and Kansas, and even the tip of northern Oklahoma. You can see these red boxes and these shapes here. Those are tornado warnings. So we've got a few tornado warnings. Looks like one up in northern Oklahoma, a couple out in Kansas, and one up in southern Minnesota. And then lots of these orange boxes are all severe thunderstorm warnings. So there's a lot of severe thunderstorms all across that area. So getting pretty rough and tumble. Right now they're moving. Let's see, where's Topeka on here? So it looks like they're moving. We got some storms moving towards Topeka. So Lawrence, Kansas, and Kansas City area will probably get it here in the next couple hours, maybe by 8, 9 o'clock. We got some stuff that's rolling through here. looks like a pretty good squall line, as they call it, or QLCS. And this is probably a spin-up tornado they're seeing. And these are going to be mostly wind gusts. I mean, you could get a little hail on this stuff, but these are probably going to be damaging wind gusts out here through Iowa and parts of northwest Missouri and even the northeast tip of Kansas. So, and it's kind of trying to evolve like that down and farther into Kansas. And we have more discrete or isolated cells. We call them discrete in the meteorological community. So out ahead of the front, we got a lot of 70s and some, fairly humid air. Dew points are in the 60s. Back behind, you can see this is dew points are dropping off into the teens and 20s. So it's not immediate cool down, but you get farther back here, back into Nebraska, you're starting to see the 50s and 60s, and especially farther north is where the really cold air is, or at least colder air. There's some 40s and 50s back here. So the cold air is kind of lagging behind the front. So that'll drop the temperatures a little bit as this front goes through gradually, over several hours or 12, 6 to 12 hours or so. It'll drop. Looks like we got some 30s up there in North Dakota. A lot of gusty winds too. It's looked like it's gusting to 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. We got a high wind warning out in that northeast Montana. They've seen some gusts up near about 50 right now. So some pretty gusty winds up there behind the front, even back down through Nebraska behind it, gusting up 30 or 40 miles an hour. So, and a little breezy out ahead of it, gusting to 30, 35 from the south. Okay, this ain't updating. Then as we head on down to the south, so we talked about that. Not much going down in Texas. That may get a little more active either tonight or tomorrow. We'll take a look at the models. I think that's what they were showing. Showing some rogue like showers. I don't know if there's really any thunder out of this out in Louisiana. This is kind of the remnants of that system that was out over here over the last couple days, but still producing a couple showers, but really isolated. Same idea over southeast Alabama. Get a couple rogue showers. Probably no thunder. There might have been a little thunderstorm there briefly south of Troy, Alabama. I know where that's at. I spent some time in that part of Alabama way back in the 90s when I was in the military. And then there's a few showers across Florida. Looks like just some rain showers, not really much in the way of thunderstorms. This might be a thunderstorm up here south of Tampa out there. But yeah, so just pretty scattered or isolated out there. Otherwise, pretty warm in the 70s mostly. It starts cooling off. It's not too bad up in New York in the 60s or, upper 50 to around 61. Some 40s up here and then 30s farther north. You can see that really light precipitation. You might be getting some really light rain out of that, but some of this probably isn't reaching the ground. It's real light. Nothing really to write home about. Back across the southwest here, it's fairly warm, not quite as warm as they have been. 85 in Phoenix, 76 in Vegas, so pleasant out there. Even in the desert's not that bad. Across New Mexico in the 70s, 81 in El Paso. A little bit of breezy wetness out there, maybe some gusts around 25 to 30 miles an hour. And you got some pretty nice temperatures across California, 60s and 70s. For most areas, except for down here in inland southern Cal, where it's in the 80s. A little cool across northern Nevada, 50s and 60s, but not too bad. And then we got some 50s and 60s. Same idea up here. We still got a lot of showers up here. Probably there's even some snow. So a couple areas are getting snow, Missoula and what's that, Cody, Wyoming. So yeah, there's some snow out there in some of the areas. Great Falls. So yeah, kind of a mix of rain and snow. Nothing too significant. Maybe in the mountains they're going to get some accumulating snow. But there could be a couple thunderstorms out here in this part of Idaho. Most of it just looks like showery, so not too much instability with this. Not enough to produce much lightning, although you might get some with this, but hard to say. All right, and so that's about it for the surface weather going on. Oh, I forgot to update this, guys. Let me hurry and do that. I'll just go through Sunday today. Okay, there we go. And so this is through the rest of tonight, through about midnight tonight. So you can see we're going to have ongoing showers and thunderstorms in the same general area, but they'll be pushing east more, more into Missouri and moving into Illinois tonight, and then still continuing down across, the central and southern plains. You may see a few trying to pop up tonight across Texas and southern Oklahoma. We'll see how that pans out. Elsewhere, pretty quiet. They're showing that convective activity or shower and thunderstorm possible out here where it's been going on. May continue through tonight for a little while. It looks like it might be winding down across the northeast. And then we have that lingering rain and snow across the northern Rockies back here into parts of Washington there. So as we go into tomorrow, this whole front's going to push east, and this is going to be the focus area for severe thunderstorms tomorrow. At least that's what they said yesterday. We'll take a look at that convective outlook, but like southern Missouri and Oklahoma, Arkansas, probably Texas, and at least the northeast, and probably parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe even eastern Tennessee, and those parts, maybe even up here. We'll see. So we'll see some ongoing storms overnight. It'll probably quiet down towards the morning. And looks like the same idea over here. We got a little bit of this is basically a warm front that's kind of been laying through there the last couple of days and kicking off those showers and storms over that same area. Ohio. Now it looks like it's shifting into Pennsylvania a little bit. So there's some lingering stuff still out over the Rockies. It's starting to weaken. Yeah, it looks like the backside snow with this low is going to be mostly in Canada now. Still looks like some breezy, gusty winds up across the north here, northern plains into Montana here as we go into Friday, at least Friday morning. They start to taper off. It looks like the gradient kind of relaxes. And this whole front gets a little weaker as you get separate. The main energy is up into Canada now. So this is Friday afternoon. So there's still that stuff over the northern Rockies. And then you got this whole frontal system. So as we go through Sunday night, this is through Saturday morning. So now this stuff's moved into the southeast, up into Kentucky and Tennessee. This system starting to move out of the Rockies now and bringing maybe some rain and snow across South Dakota, Nebraska. And then looks like the low, that new low that develops over here on Friday out in Wisconsin will move up over, Pennsylvania or mid-Atlantic somewhere and bring in some rain up there. And showers and storms will continue down through the southeast on Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon, it looks like, the southeast and mid-Atlantic will see showers and storms. Farther north, mostly just rain. Then we got another system coming out of the Rockies. A low pressure is developing here as we move into the day Saturday. It looks like some gusty winds out of the east or southeast for parts of Colorado and Kansas, maybe a little bit into Wyoming there. And looks like we'll see some more showers and storms kicking off on Saturday out here through the plains, kind of oriented a little differently. And then as you go through Saturday night into Sunday, yeah, that low kind of dips south. So that's kind of interesting. That may keep the threat more down, like in the Arklatex, Oklahoma, Arkansas, into Texas and Louisiana and parts and points east of there, maybe southern Missouri. Up here it'll be a little more stable. Looks like a little front kicking down some rain, maybe, and then getting active across the west again on the weekend. It looks like another system's coming on shore with some rain and snow for looks like late Saturday through Sunday. So it's going to be wet across the west here for Nevada, Utah, Colorado, northern Arizona. A little bit into Colorado, or not Colorado, into California, although they're not showing a whole lot of precipitation with this system. But that's Sunday, so we'll just stop there. Whoops, we'll get rid of that. And it looks like another, more thunderstorms kind of developing in this general area from Missouri, Arkansas, down through Alabama and Mississippi here. So pretty active pattern, it looks like. So with that said, let's take a look at our convective outlook, and then we'll wind this thing up. So this is for today, or rest of tonight through tomorrow morning anyways. So it looks like an enhanced risk parts of eastern Kansas and northern Oklahoma, kind of west of Kansas City, and kind of north of Oklahoma City. But we got this yellow, so there's a slight risk for Kansas City, Des Moines. It's already gone through Omaha, so they're done. And then up in maybe near Minneapolis, and that, I think that stuff might be almost done for that area. I can't remember, but anyways, just watch your local forecast. But yeah, the whole severe threat, and that'll extend into over into Wisconsin and Illinois and down even northwest Arkansas through later tonight. So keep an eye out there. Here's your tornado threat. So pretty high tornado threat, especially across Kansas, Oklahoma, and even scooting up into Iowa. And that's kind of what's going on right now. Wind, pretty good probability of wind and hail. So that's what's going to go on for tonight. For tomorrow, yeah, like I said, for Friday, it looks like more of the Arklatex into Mississippi, Oklahoma, yeah, this whole general area, and then kind of areas surrounding it into southern Missouri are marginal risk. Another marginal area up in Indiana and Ohio, near that little boundary warm front. I think it's going to be the interaction of the warm front and cold front. But yeah, so something to watch there. That's for Friday. Looks like a little bit of a tornado threat down south, and then looks like they got a pretty good wind and hail threat down there tomorrow. As we go into day 3, which would be your Saturday now. Yeah, so it's kind of the southern plains, it's getting a little farther north into Kansas, but Oklahoma. So this part of Oklahoma and Kansas, even over towards, northwest Louisiana, Shreveport area. Even Little Rock, Dallas, Fort Worth may be near this because they're even in the marginal threat. So there's a threat there, severe thunderstorms. So should stay mostly south of the KC area, south and west. So we'll see how that pans out as we go through time. That's Saturday, and then we'll look at Sunday's outlook. So you look at that. So it shifts a little farther north. Yeah. So Oklahoma City, Wichita, into Kansas City, and yeah, even northern Texas, not too far from Dallas, Fort Worth, and kind of edging towards Little Rock, Arkansas. That's for Sunday, and then Monday it shifts east. Look at that, kind of a bullseye over Missouri, St. Louis area, down into Paducah, Kentucky. So watch out. It's going to be a pretty busy, active pattern here through at least Monday. So that's all I've got to say for today. I appreciate y'all. Let everyone know we're out here. We'll try to educate you. And these have been a little bit quicker videos. I'm just a little bit tired, so I don't want to linger on too much. So anyways, hey, I appreciate you all. Wixman Ray out.